Okay, hi. The last lesson was a theory lesson where I talked about the 1, the 4 and the 5 chords and explained why they were the common chords in a key. And so if you remember back to the lesson before that, we were making the 1, or the root chord, was a C shape, which then meant the 4 chord would be an F shape, and the 5 chord would be that same shape slid up 2. So wherever you start, if your 1 is a C-shaped bar chord, those 2 other chords are going to be F shapes at either the same fret or 2 frets up. And it doesn't matter where you start. And then we also added the relative minor in from there. It was an A minor shape, and then it became your F shapes. So we already covered this pattern, but it's just a refresher. From your 1 to your relative minor 6 chord, and then the 4 and the 5 there. I call it a relative minor because if we take it back and actually look at the open chord, at the roots of how these shapes are formed, there's your C, and we know that the A minor goes with it, but we could have kept our C finger down. We could have kept that note, the C note, the root note. There's the C, there's the A minor, and the C fits really well with it. The only notes that have changed, these 3 notes, are exactly the same in both chords. The only note that's changing is this, the G string note goes to an A. So that's why it's called a relative minor, because they're really closely related, these chords. The major and the minor, and then of course the F and the G. We're very used to that pattern. So if you were playing as all of those as bar chords, you could keep this root note in the picture the whole time as well. When you play your minor, you could reach over for the minor shape, but keep your little finger there. And then add the F, and the little finger can still stay. And then when you slide it all up, the little finger slides up with it. So that's just another little variation of the pattern we've already practiced, where you can keep your little finger in if you want to, or you can take it off. Alright, that was a recap, because today we're going to look at a similar pattern, but based on one of our other bar chords, the F shape. So for an F, if that's the root, the relative minor of an F is a D minor, and again it's the same idea. It's almost the same chord. You're going to add your finger under here. You probably already know a D minor. So the frets you're playing are 2, 2 and 1. But if you lift it off, it's an F. So those 2 are really closely related. That's the 1 chord. That's the minor 6, which is the relative minor chord. And if we're in F, then the 4th will be a B flat and the 5th will be a C, depending on how you want to play it. F, D minor, B flat and C. So let's make it all bar chords and start with our F shape. So we'll start at the 2nd fret. There's your F shape. And if we're just playing major chords, the 1, the 4 and the 5, the 4 is going to be an A shape 1 fret up. And then the 5 will be that same shape 2 frets up. So from an F shape, slide up 1 and just change this finger's, just change the strings. Back to the F, So you're getting used to sliding the whole position up, and just this finger changes strings to an A shape. When you go to the 5 chord, it slides up 2 and just holds the same shape. It's an A-shaped chord. And then one more down and change shape to an F shape. So wherever you start, if it's an F-shaped chord, that's your pattern. And we're going to add our relative minor to the shape. So there's your F. Now to get a relative minor, it's a bit more squeezy. You're going to slide your little finger underneath so it's on the same fret as your 3rd finger there, on the string above it. So that's how you get the minor shape. And I'm going to call that a D minor shaped chord, because it is basically, it's a D minor played with those fingers. And then it becomes a bar chord related to the F shape bar chord. And yeah, those 4 chords, it's useful to learn it in that order. The 1 turns into a minor, then the 4 and the 5, but you can play them in any order you like. So there's lots of songs. Oops, I should have gone to an A shape there. I went to the F. Once you've figured out those 4 chords, it's useful to kind of play them in all sorts of different orders, because songs are always made up of the chords in different orders. That's a very 50s rock and roll style, is to go from the 1 to the minor to the 4 to the 5. But it doesn't always go in that order. But there you go. That's what we're going to practice with this lesson. I've probably talked about that a bit long this time, but F shape, D minor shape is putting your little finger. That's a new bar chord to get a new minor. And then we already knew the A shape chords. And let's see. Well, that's a G. That's going to be an E minor. This one will be a C, and that'll be a D. So you could actually play, after playing these 2, you could change it to C-shaped chords if you wanted to. So this pattern, starting on the 5th fret, F-shaped chord, D minor shaped chord, A-shaped chord, and A-shaped chord, is the same as F-shaped chord, D minor shaped chord, but then C-shaped chord here. And then we're already on the right fret. So yeah, you've got remembering that these chords are the same as these C-shaped chords. So you can see it gets a lot to remember, but once you start to understand how the different chords are related, you can play all these patterns with just choosing the pattern that's the closest one that you want to go to. But for now, just explore playing this turnaround, starting with an F shape. F shape, a D minor shape, and then either 2 A shapes, or F shape, D minor, and 2 C shapes. There you go, you've discovered a new bar chord, a D minor shape bar chord. Alright, thanks a lot.